Oh my gosh, we're gonna about to take a virtual. Hi everyone, about to take a virtual tour here. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. I wish I was actually there. Perfect. It's a little windy, but it's not bad. It's
Okay.
not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it gets too bad that you can't hear me, then let
Okay.
me know. Um,
Perfect.
but I can kind of take a walk around. We have a few team members here. It's a little bit messy here today. We had a party here last night,
Oh, nice.
um, so they're still kind of cleaning up from that.
Okay.
We've been doing dinner parties at the property for some guests,
Ah,
but I kind of will show you our.
nice.
This we call our wedding deck, where we do dinner parties and things, and we do a lot of wedding ceremonies over
Oh,
here. But
nice.
this is our beach little bay.
Oh my gosh, how beautiful. Because that's what I was going to ask you. Are you guys open to receiving guests, or when were you open? So you are open now for guests to
Well,
arrive.
our full teams in all four of our resorts have all, been full on board and doing maintenance and care. We've had different situations at different resorts. Like some, we actually had people stranded with us in Thailand. We had people kind of in exile with us for 3 months. But in Angola, the borders
It's
are
getting a little scratchy. I'm not hearing you. Yeah,
closed.
you're
Okay.
gonna have to come in.
All right. Let me go. Let me come out of the.
Okay.
I'll come out of the wind. So I said it's a
Yeah.
little messy here because we cleaning up from a party. Um,
Ah,
you
I
think over up
see.
there? Let's see. Maybe I can find a spot where maybe it won't be as windy. But
Okay.
so
'Cause
Anguilla, the border, you hear me better now?
I can, because
Okay.
before it was such a beautiful view, but everything, the wind was taking over, so
Yeah, yeah. No
I couldn't
problem.
hear you. But I don't
No
think
problem.
anyone would complain to be exiled in Thailand right now, as beautiful as it is, for 3 months. I have a friend that's still there actually since March and loving
All
it.
right.
So,
So Anguilla, while we're ready to receive guests anytime, the
mhm.
borders here are closed.
Okay.
We're waiting for a date. We're expecting probably late July or early August.
Okay.
Would be looks like it will be the soft opening here, probably primarily with villas and some of the smaller hotels. The big hotels in Anguilla won't open until probably October, November. So we're expecting to
Okay.
start receiving guests late July, early August, but we're waiting on final confirmation on dates.
Got it. Okay. So, I mean, I see people are, well, it's not noon yet, so I guess we came on a little early. I'm just looking, it's 1 minute before 12.
Okay.
So I guess if you want to kind of wait a little bit for
Yeah.
more people to load in, hopefully we'll have a nice turnout today. So,
Nice.
oh my
I
gosh,
think
mhm.
I don't know whether we need to do anything on our Instagram, like whether we're showing up as live, having joined you. Like, would
You
we
are.
be? We are.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I'm seeing people there that I don't know. They're not my followers, so I'm
Got
assuming
it.
they're probably yours. Because when you
Got
do
it.
a
Got it.
live, it'll show up on your end as well.
Okay.
So it looks like people are slowly trickling in. So actually, let me pin what this is so people will actually know what
Yep.
we're doing.
Sure.
Okay, here we go. It should pin it. Let's see, pinned, pin comment. Ah, perfect. Okay. So we have a few people coming in. So I guess I'll start with where we are. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Today we are in beautiful Anguilla. I'm Sanika. I'm the president of Lavish Lifestyles Concierge, and we are here with Ira Bloom. He is the president of Anai Private Resorts, and basically he manages. I actually will go back to your bio. He manages all holdings and operations for the group from the company's headquarters there in beautiful Anguilla. Anai Private Resorts operates properties in Anguilla, Dominican Republic, Thailand, and Sri Lanka. So I think that there's unlimited possibilities, I should say. So today we're going to be talking about what safety measures this property and all the other properties I mentioned under the umbrella are doing to ensure your safety should you wish to travel this summer or early 2021. So we're just kind of waiting for a few more people to come in. In the meantime, feel free to type a question in the comment section below, or just go along for the ride or the virtual tour that we're doing here. So yeah,
Great.
I think, yeah, I see more people coming in.
Okay. Great.
So.
Great. So this is
Perfect.
actually, you're looking at, this is, we call our event pavilion. This,
Okay.
we used to have a tent here for many years, and then after Hurricane Irma, we built this permanent structure. This sits in between, when we move around a bit, you'll see this sits in between the two villas that we have at the resort here, and we do lots of big parties. We have bands, live music in here. So for when it's real big groups and parties, this is the spot that we're using. There's a neat
Beautiful.
little spot over here. I don't know how windy it'll get. We'll see. This little cantilever deck here we call Turtle Point
Okay.
is a kind of cute lookout. When we have smaller groups, we can do smaller dinner parties here, and lots of cocktails. Pretty neat spot. The view here. We call it Turtle Point because there's always a turtle. I don't know if you can zoom in carefully enough. I can see one turtle right over
Oh, wow.
there. If you can see in the water, that little dot. You got it in there, Kareem?
I'm looking for it. I don't know if you guys watching see it. I don't see the turtle yet.
He's trying to find it as he zooms in. It's not easy once you zoom in. Oh, there's another one over there. Can you see that one?
Yes, vaguely. I think I saw a little dot in the ocean. We actually had someone that just came on that asked, when will the resorts open? When will Americans be allowed in? I know you just answered it, but if you could kind of go
No
back.
problem. So as far as Anguilla is concerned, Anguilla, we don't have a fixed date. They actually just now repatriating overseas Anguillians over the next few weeks. We expect there'll be a soft opening for Americans to Anguilla late July, early August. We don't have a fixed date yet, but it's going to be like pre-approved visas to come in. So it'll be like smaller groups of people to start. And then as we get into the fall, it'll be more generally open. We think the big hotels, resorts will open in Anguilla in October, November. Let me know if it's too windy that I'll move
Okay.
if I'm
So
not
far
clear.
you're
Yeah?
good. So
Okay.
far you're good. So I guess
And
we'll
it,
touch on. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, I was going to say Dominican Republic, where we have another one of our resorts, actually opens on July 1st. We just had a group actually confirm that's coming to us from July 4th to 11th there. So there will be open in full on July 1st. They're going to do testing on arrival, no quarantines or anything there. So that is open, as of July 1st. And Will, as I said, we're kind of waiting on dates.
Got it.
So hope to
Perfect.
have some confirmation soon.
So actually, you know what? I'll touch on and where exactly Anguilla is for those that may not be familiar. I mean, everyone seems to know where Dominican Republic is because I know that's one of the most popular, travel destinations. But for those that may be unfamiliar with Anguilla, Anguilla is actually located 6 miles outside of St. Martin. The easiest way to get to Anguilla would be to fly into St. Martin and to take the ferry from St. Martin over to Anguilla, which is about a 20-minute ferry ride. Flights from New York, actually Delta right now, they're probably going to do direct flights from JFK. All the other airlines you would connect in Miami to
JetBlue
St.
also.
Martin.
I don't.
JetBlue, okay,
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked over the past couple of days, but I mean, JetBlue and Delta historically, pre-COVID, were always doing pretty much daily nonstops into St. Martin. But I'm not sure what dates. I think by mid-July for sure, we're expecting at least a few nonstops a week from both Delta and JetBlue. But you
nice,
can also get here by flying to San Juan,
okay.
and we can arrange for the Anguilla Airlines to do private pickups in San Juan. And there's also, although I don't know what the schedule will be, there's an airline, Silver Airlines, that does commercial from San Juan directly to Anguilla too. But we'll be able to pick up, like using the Anguilla Airlines, as soon as those airports open up, we can pick up.
You frozen, Ira. Hello. Or did he freeze on my end, guys? Let me know who froze on which end. Okay.
Number of options. I mean, St. Martin is the closest to us for sure, and the easiest. But as things start to open up now, there's a good number of other options as well where we can get people picked up to come in.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Now, what about Dominican Republic? What's the nearest airport? Is it Puerto Plata to your property in
Yeah,
DR or?
it is. It is Puerto Plata is around a little over an hour drive to us, and I know that flights are
Okay.
starting there up in July. But you can also fly to Santo Domingo. It's like a 2.5 hour drive to us, but you go up and over this mountain range, it's a pretty awesome pretty awesome drive up there
Oh,
too. So
nice.
so it's not a bad, little bit of a longer drive, but actually a pretty dramatic scenery along the way. So it's not a bad way to come into us as well.
Nice. So I guess since it's after a little bit after 12, I wanted to
Yeah.
kind of touch on what makes your resort different from the others because I think people would be curious to know how unique your property is. That I love it, especially in the day and age of COVID, where
Yeah.
you're not going to be around other guests. It would just be your group. So I kind of wanted to touch on exactly what your property, the concept of your property, as well as what is the minimum amount of guests that can book right now, and what's the maximum amount of guests?
Sure. So, we call all of our properties private resorts. So they're like a villa in that we're only renting them to one group at a time. So as you were saying, you have that kind of privacy, exclusivity. You're only sharing the facilities with your group of friends and family that you're traveling with. And that's our concept, at all four of our properties around the world. And I think that makes us kind of unique in kind of this post-COVID world that you're not having to worry about sharing spaces or buffets with other people or other things like that. Everything is just customized for your group. And we have a whole staff, including general managers, executive chefs, tennis pros, activity coordinators, mixologists who you'll meet some of them in a few minutes when I walk you around, that are all catering to that one group in residence. The way our rates are set up is based on the number of rooms that you'll take. Anguilla is a 10-bedroom resort. Here, our rates start at 4 bedrooms. So I don't have the rates right in front of me, but I'd say in the summer, the rates for 4 bedrooms would be around 6,000 per night. And that'd be for 8 guests. It goes up to, if you took all 10 bedrooms, a little bit under 10,000 per night. So the more rooms that you take and the more people you come with, the less you end up getting charged on a per person basis. But that's
Right.
roughly, what the math comes out to is roughly between 800 to 12 or 1,300 per night per bedroom if you divide it. But the minimum bedrooms that we offer would be 4 bedrooms. But as I said, in
Nice.
all cases, you'd have the place to yourself.
And that comes with,
Walk
just to
them.
reiterate, just so that people understand, that comes with all the meals, the cocktails, the daily massage. So basically, that rate is not just for your accommodations, it's for
Correct.
basically your entire stay. And what other, because I know I was looking at your site and you guys have a plethora of complimentary activities if you want to share some of the
Yeah,
complimentary activities you guys
sure.
offer.
Yeah, for sure. Look, the whole all-inclusive thing is a big part of what we do because when you're traveling with a group of friends and family, you don't want to be worrying about counting drinks. Is your bill getting padded? And concerned
Right.
about some huge incidental bills when at the end of your stay. So we've kind of taken all that stress out of the equation. And so food and drinks, as you mentioned, massage treatments, tennis lessons, cooking classes, lots of
Nice.
different kids activity. If somebody is coming with kids, we have arts and crafts, and they do kind of treasure hunts and doing like little fire pit things as well. But
Nice.
each of the 4 resorts, there's a whole another set of activities that we're offering as well. But lots of stuff that is included complimentary for all ages. But then there is off property as well, which wouldn't be included, but we have best of experiences at each of our destinations as well. In Anguilla, it's an amazing place to learn how to kite surf. There's horseback riding, great paddleboard excursions on offer as well.
Nice.
And then if you went out to our Asia properties, you start to have like game reserves to go see elephants or huge temples or tea plantations. So lots of neat experiences that we can put together for groups when they're coming in.
Nice. And I had a question that came in. I
Yep.
know this is probably redundant, but just to clarify, guests are not required to wear masks, correct? So on property, guests do not have to wear masks, or will they be asked to wear masks on property?
No, so maybe I can give you a little bit of a brief intro to kind of what we're doing as far as protocols for COVID. So guests are not required to wear masks, that's for sure. Depending on which of the destinations, we're following a lot of the guidelines that are set out by each of the governments. It sounds like all 4 of our destinations, the governments are going to be testing on arrival. And depending on location, there could be a certain period what we're calling quarantine, but that meaning a period of time where the guests are really expected to stay for the most part at their resort or at their villa. And so we're kind of following those guidelines. In a place like Dominican Republic, there is no quarantine by the government, but what we are doing is with the guests being tested on arrival, we have a period for the first 5 days that we're going to be doing a little bit more distant service, just to make sure people for sure are not showing any symptoms, and that's both for the guests' safety and for the staff safety. So things like meal service and things, we're not going to be, coming up and pour water glasses and things for the first few nights, but all still completely full service. Our staff will be wearing masks for those first few nights, but after the 5-day period, for the most part, when we have our staff just with the guests alone, that in cases if the guests are comfortable, we can have the staff even taking off of their masks. But never for the guests would it be required. But again, as our kind of top priority for sure is going to be the safety of our guests and the staff. But because we're customizing things to one group at a time, if we have a family that's a bit more concerned about safety issues related to COVID, we can scale things up. We can keep the staff more distanced. For those that are more looking for the full service experience still, so long as we're not putting the staff at risk and we're following local regulations, we can be a bit looser. We've gotten both. It's been quite interesting for us. We've gotten, now groups that are coming to stay with us. Some are more concerned with the safety. Some are more concerned that they don't want to have a compromised experience, having to wear masks or other things. So we have that ability to really customize. I mean, one unique thing that we are going to be offering for certain groups is because the staff is only catering to one group at a time, we have the ability to isolate our staff from the local community. So in some cases, we're going to have our staff move onto the property several days before the guests arrive. And then once the guests arrive, the staff will stay on property with the guests alone and not return home to their families or to the local communities, so that the guests can feel comfortable that they're not being exposed to the wider community. But that's also for the safety of the staff as well, that in case for some reason there was a guest who did come that was positive, that now the staff are not putting their own families at jeopardy too. So
absolutely. So we have one question. Someone asked, what's the food like? When you say not a buffet, does it cover food cost? So if you could kind of go back to what we were talking about in terms of the food, it is all inclusive, by the way, for Christian. But Ira, if you could kind of expand on that.
Yeah, sure. So the way that our food program works is that it's all customized dining for each group that's coming to stay with us. We try to get as much information as we can about each person that's in a group, who's a vegan, who's gluten-free, who's lactose intolerant. And our chefs are great about creating menus to make sure that at every dish, at every meal, that no matter what anybody's dietary requirements, they have something. It's not an a la carte menu. As far as they're going to get a menu and be able to choose, the menus are all going to be predetermined ahead of time. Although once the guests arrive, the chef is going to be meeting with the guests every day to refine it and find out, maybe they said they love that fish. Can we do that another night? And so they can shape it a bit while they're here. As far as the style of meals, we really try to mix it up. In addition, like some of the spots you've seen me walking around to, is we do meals out in the event pavilion one day, out on the wedding deck where we first started a little while ago.
Nice.
We'll do up on the roof deck. So try to move meals to different locations. And in addition, we will do some family style meals. We'll do some plated meals, which I think are kind of the most exciting, where the guests don't know what they're getting. The chef will come out with the staff presenting each dish and talk a little bit about what each dish is. Actually, I don't know whether our chef made it in yet. As I said, we're kind of cleaning up from a party last night. Did Chef Sweets get back yet or not? Not yet? All right, we'll come talk to the chef again in a little while.
Perfect.
So, although I can introduce you to Tracy, who talks a little bit more about our drinks. She's our chief mixologist here, who's going to make me a drink.
Oh,
while
yum.
while I was on with you guys. And Tracy does cocktail classes with
Okay.
most of our guests. Come this way.
Nice.
You'll be on. This is Tracy here. Kareem's
Hello.
my. You have to meet Kareem at some point, who's the cameraman. He's the one doing the hardest work today.
I love
Actually,
it.
over here you can see this is Hassani, who's our general manager for the resort.
Hello. How are you?
But he just looks
Nice.
pretty. It's everybody else who does the unique stuff. Um,
Nice.
so in addition, so the food is a really customized basis. We will do, and I said no buffets, and I'm meaning like you think of as a big resort kind of buffets. But there could be some nights where we do a big Caribbean barbecue night dinner where, could be served in buffet style. But the way we'll go back and forth is between more family style and then between plated meals.
Okay.
Which is, I don't know what Tracy is making, and hopefully not getting me too loaded this afternoon.
I don't want to get you too drunk, Ira.
Oh, what is she making again?
I don't know. So what do you got
So,
going?
for me, I'm going on the healthy side, and I know everybody's on the healthy side because we're all gymming right now in this quarantine time, and I do gym every day. Trust me. So, I have fresh. Yes, it's there.
I love it. I love it.
I have fresh mangoes and carrots. And what I normally do if I'm doing a cocktail class, I will combine the both of them, and then I'll infuse it with cinnamon sticks just for the spice. So once you taste that, you'll be tasting this
Yum.
cinnamon
Nice.
stick spice. But I didn't get a chance to do all that because we didn't have any guests at this time. I always use fresh local stuff. The basil, instead of mint, I like to use basil. And of course, it's from our lovely garden. Roland, fresh basil.
Roland's our landscaper who's does an amazing job, and he's got a whole little herb garden that the staff uses
Nice.
here as well.
So Ira is a little bit weak on the rum side. Really, he's more the vodka man, so I'm going to take it easy on him today. So what I'll do is muddle a little piece of the basil. Just slightly. Because I love the aroma that it gives.
Nice.
Then I will add my rum, 2 ounces of rum. Once again, I got to take it easy.
I got to work this afternoon. It's an issue.
I love it. I wish I could have one through the phone.
We'll send you a virtual one.
Please. It's noon here, so you're welcome there too.
That I squeezed this
Well,
morning.
it's like we start drinking around noon here normally anyway.
I'm like it's always 5 o'clock somewhere, but it's
Fresh
noon.
lime juice.
Exactly.
We have 2 ounces of the mango, freshly blended this morning, and also the carrot juice.
Nice.
No sugar in these two. Now, some people like a little sugar to taste. I don't. I cut out the sugar nowadays because, as I tell you, I'm gymming. I love that. But just a taste for the sugar.
Mhm.
A little taste.
That's serious.
No, this is a little. Trust me, Aaron. Trust me.
All right.
Trust me.
We met, so Tracy, actually, before she joined Ani a bunch of years ago, was running the main bar at what is now the Four Seasons in Anguilla, which is a fantastic bar, and that's,
Nice.
I think so, she got me drunk, and that's how she ended up.
So I'll take this.
Well, hopefully we can share the recipe.
But there's a style to it. And
Yeah,
a
we-
technique, and you gotta shake, and then you gotta rhythm with it. You gotta move a bit. Yeah.
We could
Because
put,
normally I'll be having music for the class, and then you'll be like, yeah.
I love it.
And you gotta hear that pop. Once you hear that pop, we're good to go.
we could post the recipe after. We'll have her put it together.
Perfect. And then I'll reshare as well for anyone that wants to recreate this at home, because I will. I'm definitely going to recreate this.
Nice.
Lovely.
All right, now I'm ready. I'm
ready too. I wish I had one. Oh, that looks so good.
Very refreshing.
That looks
Because
so
everything
yummy.
is local.
all right.
Now, as I told you, normally I'll put these two together with the cinnamon, infuse it for a couple of days when I'm making my cocktail for cocktail class. So what I'll do, I put a little piece in there, just for Ira to get the aroma. Then this is mango, and it has spices on it, which is nutmeg and cinnamon.
Oh, wow.
Normally, I'll put a little kick to it with a jalapeno, because some gets like the spice, and it goes well with this. So I'll do that sometimes. So I put a little inside there. Of course, a little lime wedge just to cut the sweetness if Ira doesn't really like it sweet. A little basil. You top it off with a little club soda.
All right, I'm ready. Cheers.
Cheers. I'll toast with some water here. So.
All right, thank you, Trace. So we can keep. That's good. Actually, I know, but I don't want to finish it. I'll be in trouble.
I'm like, I have water, so I'll virtually imagine how it tastes there. So,
Okay.
yeah, thank you. So, are we going to kind of do a tour now?
Yeah, I could show you, I'll show you a little bit of a bedroom. I mean, one of the interesting things, you'll see artwork around as we're walking that we have around the world at each of our destinations, what we call the Ani Art Academies. And the Ani Art Academies, it's a very intensive drawing and painting program for adults like 18 and over. Most of our students are on the younger side, but all over 18. And those that complete the program, the work they can do is pretty incredible. And it's a completely free program to each of our, okay, so this is actually a work, I think, from one of our Anguilla students. That's actually a charcoal drawing, not a photograph.
Wow.
So you'll see around.
Is the art for sale? Is the art for sale if people would
Yes.
like to purchase it once they're okay?
They can. These happen to be reprints of originals, and the work is for sale. Both the reprints of the work, and then in some cases the originals are for sale too. And a lot of our guests will go visit the schools. The students quite often come to the resorts, meet the guests, do portrait sessions, do painting classes and things. So this is one of the master bedrooms to give you kind of a sense of the spaces.
Very nice.
All of our places are wheelchair accessible. So one of the things you'll notice in our masters is that the showers are all roll-in showers with no lips.
Nice.
The spaces are quite large. We didn't make them look like wheelchair accessible. We didn't want bars and things, so we used stone ledges where we need to make them ADA compliant. But they are all ADA compliant spaces.
Very nice. Oh, and I saw the view. It looks amazing. If we can stand back around to the view, I mean,
it's a great view.
Gorgeous. And this is one of the suites in which I know that you guys have two separate villas. So which villa are we
so this is we're in the South Villa. The bedrooms are pretty identical between them. And, as I said, we don't rent to more than one person. So there are 4, like these giant masters, which you just saw. But there's 4 of them between the 2 villas. So if a group came with just 4 couples, they could take the 4 big masters between the 2 villas, or they can, if they all wanted to be in the same villa, they could all be in the same villa, so they can kind of spread out as they like. This we call the junior master, and the same great view with a great deck, just a bit of a smaller bathroom than the other rooms.
Gorgeous. Now, how far is the beach? I see you guys are on a cliff. So how would guests access the beach from the property?
So that little beach, when we get to the roof, I'll show you. That little beach is called Little Bay, which is a quite famous snorkeling spot. And there's a rock that people jump off. It's a kind of quite famous spot. And so that is our closest beach. It takes around 5 minutes to walk there, although you're going down a trail and then a little rope. So it's not for the elderly or really tiny kids. But it's a pretty fantastic beach. But then there's 2 other beaches that are within like a 3-minute either golf cart ride for us or a bike ride. And those are 2 close. You actually can see the end when I show you the view here now. Yes, I'll show you kind of Little Bay and that I was just talking about. So that's Little Bay, which is our kind of little house beach, which is just below us.
Cute. Okay.
And so that you can see the trail up above it that you kind of come around. come around the back of it to get down to there. And that's, literally right around the corner. In the distance, you're seeing the end of the beach. It's called Crocus Bay. Tucked in, what you can't see there's a restaurant there. There's live music there on some days, and that's our closest kind of larger beach. But
Nice.
Anguilla has 33 beaches. I think 10 of them are really like world-class beaches.
Wow.
And they're all within like 10 to 15-minute drive of us. So we have a trailer that we fill with chairs, umbrellas, paddle boards, cornhole games, so we take our guests to any beach on the island and can set them up there. That's the building you see in the distance there with the blue roof, is the Ani Art Academy. That's where the students are working here. And each of the schools that we have around the world are within, a 5 or 10 minute drive. This one happens to be a 2-minute walk away,
Nice.
which is kind of nice.
Nice.
You're seeing the other roof over on the other side here. That's the roof deck of the other villa, of the North Villa. So as I said, we kind of do cocktails in different places, dinners in different places. We really try to move people around
Nice.
a bunch down there.
Very good. And you know what? Let's go back onto transportation. I forgot to ask, does the hotel provide transportation from the airport, or do guests have to get their own transportation? Like, do
No,
you guys have a shuttle?
So we meet and greet all of our guests if they're arriving by boat from St. Martin, we meet them at the ferry. If they're arriving by plane, we meet them at the airport. And we organize to have them brought by local taxi van to the resort. So everybody is met on arrival. If they're landing in St. Martin, we even have somebody who meets them at the airport in St. Martin to put them on the boat coming over, or puts them on, you can also take like a 7-minute flight over as well.
Oh yes, I've done that flight in St. Bart's. I was terrified of the short runway, but
Yeah, Anguilla's not as dramatic as the St. Bart's runway. That's kind of freaky when you kind of pop over that hill and then drop down. We got a little bit of a longer runway, and in fact, something that does separate Anguilla from St. Bart's is that we can get private jets here. Our runway is long. So we've even had as big as a 737 is probably the biggest flight that's landed here, but not commercial. Actually, I'll come introduce you to Chef Sweets real quick.
Sure.
What's up? This is Sanika, who you can't see, but actually, I didn't even know.
Chef.
Could you hear Tracy through my earphones before when she was talking, or not really?
No.
You could.
Yes and no. Once
Yeah,
I got closer, I could hear
I'll get closer to Sweets. Any case, this is his kitchen here. The Sweets runs our whole food program here, but he's also kind of takes a lead in what we do all over the world. He's been to every one of our 4 other resorts. It's kind of a big part of helping us open the DR resort as well. And I was telling them earlier about how we try to get as much information from guests before they come and design meals and menus and things for them. I don't know. Can you hear Sweets?
Yeah, I think I can.
Tell them a little bit about like how you go about planning meals for groups that are coming in.
Yeah, it really starts by engaging with the guests over conference call. Understanding what they like, what they don't like, and just building a menu. We don't try to put too much on the guests as far as they creating the menu sort of. They give us the reins to be free and kind of surprise them on a daily and nightly basis. So we just want to understand what they don't like, what they like mostly, especially if they have kids and persons with dietary restrictions. We try to take care of everyone. So it's a great experience for them. And again, it's a private experience, so we are able to do it in a way that's tailored just for them. So
Nice.
I can hear it too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I'm assuming. So you come to the villa every morning, or how does that work? Does the guest kind of tell you what time they would like to have breakfast ready, or do you guys have kind of set hours for the meals? If you could kind of
so we have so we try to create like our itinerary, like a set program, and it will detail the timing and the start of the menu each day, right? So the guests will know what they're having beforehand, or sometimes they don't want to, but it's up to us what we want to do, pretty much. And we'll try to highlight a breakfast special as well. So it might vary from an Anguillan breakfast to Jamaican to wherever. We try to bring the cuisines in, especially the villas, the resorts that we are located, right? So we got Thailand, we got Dominican, then we'll try to highlight some of the cuisine from that, bring it to Angola and try to mix it up a little bit. So yeah, we try to have fun with it. The drinks and the cocktails would mirror that as well.
Very nice. And what's your specialty? One last question. What's your specialty, chef, or
I
something you
really,
really enjoy cooking?
I always grapple with that question. I don't really have a specialty to be honest. Like lately I've been trying to, I've been into Asian a lot lately, but I'm trying to step back a little bit and trying to find more of my roots in the Caribbean and try to
Okay.
branch that off into other cuisines, right? So, but I don't like there's not one method of cooking I like more than the other. I love to grill. I love to
Hmm.
keep it smoke or whatever, So I
Right.
like it all, but I have fun making pastas, if you will. Like I love making pastas, using my hands, try to be
Nice.
interactive with the foods, So anything that helps me to get me involved with the food, and especially when we're doing cooking classes, like sushi is another thing that we have fun with too. So anything
Nice.
that involves, your hands and entertainment sort of, then I'm happy with that. I'm comfortable. So yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you. I look forward to trying your
Yes.
cuisine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
So
Thanks,
thank
man.
you. Yeah, no, now I'm hungry. I mean, between the cocktail and thinking about lunch now, I'm just like I'm ready. So so yeah, I mean, it's there. I know there's a pool there. Can we walk out to the pool to kind of give guests a view
Sure.
of the pool or
Here's
okay,
one.
perfect.
So there's a pool in each of a pool at each of the two villas that are pretty similar. And
Okay.
then up on the ledge, I don't know if you saw before, we have two kind of great hot tubs. I'll walk you up to. They wanted to kind of check out the pool. You saw the pool,
Perfect.
yeah? You saw the pool already?
Vaguely. Vaguely.
Vaguely. Here, you can
I
show them.
guess
This
we
is.
could pan back over so people
Uh,
could see because I just missed it myself.
yeah.
Okay.
And this is our smallest of the other resorts you'll see in the other, this one's 10 bedrooms. Dominican Republic, where we have 14 bedrooms, the pools there are kind of substantially bigger um, up there as well. But there's two pools of the size that you just saw between the two villas. And then we have two of these same hot tubs. These seat probably like 12, 15 people in a good party. Um,
Nice.
it's a pretty cool spot.
Yeah, no, the view is gorgeous. I mean, the view is gorgeous there. Like, very nice.
Kind of see in the distance, one of the neat places we will send guests. I don't know if you can see over the rocks. There's a little strip of sand in the water there. Can you
Okay,
see
yeah,
that?
I could
That's
see it.
called Sandy Island. There's a little restaurant on there that does barbecue,
Oh, wow.
drinks, and so a lot of our guests, if they come, a few different islands we have like that off the coast, which are awesome to go out to for the day.
Perfect. No, I love it. I mean, I think I've touched on everything here. Or is there any other spots on the property that you would like to show us, or anything else
Ah,
you would like to share?
well,
Or uh-huh.
what I didn't show you, which is not too far walk, is, we have our gym, full-blown gym with a Peloton and ellipticals and full-blown as you feel like it is a resort. That's right next to our tennis court there as well, where we have, Denny's not here today, we have a full-time tennis pro who also does some of our bartending as well sometimes. Um,
Nice.
and so it didn't take you down there, but you kind of get a sense of the spaces. I mean, you could get a shot of the villas and the roof deck and stuff up there.
Nice.
There is all different spots along the whole cliff edge here, up on the decks and other places that we really do. In addition to having places where everybody can gather when they're here together, there's also spaces where you want to get away, from the crowd, even though it's your own crowd, and get some private time, either with yourself or maybe with your partner. There's lots
Right.
of spaces also for privacy here too, so you
Nice.
don't have to feel. And
And
look, I
then,
think,
uh, I
yeah,
was going to
I
say the
just,
maximum amount of people is 20. Just to touch on that, it's 20
yeah.
people,
So
the
for
max.
Anguilla, for Witches
Okay.
Anguilla, it's 20 adults plus kids. So we do 20 adults plus up to 6 kids that are 12 and under.
Okay.
Would be the max occupancy here. We've probably gone above that a few times. We have lots of different rollaways and other beds, but we're pretty flexible, to make it work for all different types of groups. Um,
Nice, nice. Yes, I could definitely see this as a corporate retreat or something for a large family or a wedding or some type of
Yeah, for
function
sure.
like
I mean,
that.
though you kind
So
of touched on all the kind, we get all type. Most of the groups that come through, like our biggest business comes from, we call like the multi-gen groups, large extended families or groups of families traveling together. But we do also, like the bigger trend here, both in Anguilla and DR, is we're getting tons of these birthday trips. Somebody's 40th birthday or somebody's 50th birthday. Some reason it's always the wife's 40th and it's the husband's 50th. But that's become a real big piece of our business now, whether it's celebrating somebody's birthday in particular, or whether it's a bunch of old college friends that are getting together. They're all like celebrating their 50th in that year. But we
nice.
do like destination weddings, where we start out with up down there again.
Yeah, it's
The
getting
wet,
windy again. It's
yeah.
getting a little windy.
Okay, so doing destination weddings is another piece of our business. Each of our resorts, we're probably doing 3 to 4 weddings a year, and corporate retreats, as you mentioned too, work really well here. And for all these,
Nice.
for us, every group is an event in essence. That we're planning activities day and night, special meals and celebrations, but also, it's the having the place to yourself, not having to worry about curfews. As opposed to being at a resort, if you're doing some kind of party, they may want you cleared out of a restaurant by a certain time or get
Right.
up off of a pool deck. And for us, because you have the place to yourself, it really opens up the possibilities of what we can do. And even on a last minute basis, if the guests decide, what, we want to have kind of a big party over there on the property, it's not like we have to worry about working around other guests. So I think
Right.
that's a big part of I think what makes it special. And it's also for a group to travel. If you did go to a resort, say with 20 people, you're constantly trying to figure out where you're meeting, what time are you meeting, and it's a lot of logistics to try to be together. Whereas when you're
Right.
here, you're just here. And so for things like breakfast and suites, as talked about before, breakfast is kind of done as you want, when you're ready. Sometimes there'll be optional activities if somebody wants to go out for a bike ride or something and join in. But otherwise, it's just pretty stress-free that you can all be there together and not have to figure out logistics of what time where and constantly knowing where you're supposed to be. That when you're here, you can just be here.
No, I mean, I think it's amazing. I'm sold. I'm ready to be there today, tomorrow, next week. I mean, it is a gorgeous
So,
property. I definitely think that it's even more attractive because you're not around other guests,
yeah,
especially
look, we
right
feel.
now with COVID.
Yeah, no,
So,
we're feeling right. I mean, we're expecting to be in some ways busier than we've ever been. At least, for those people that are traveling, we're definitely, a pretty attractive option that way to kind of stay. And we're actually just did a partnership with a private jet company called PJS, where we have kind of a mutual benefits agreement for their members that are staying with us and for our guests that may be looking to fly private, that we're seeing that combination of people that kind of want to be in their own bubble, in essence, from start to finish. So that
nice.
kind of combination of private jet to private resort. Although, as I said, the Anguilla Airlines are fantastic to service all the nearby islands. So if people can get themselves down to, San Juan, St. Martin, anywhere, we can get them picked up by one of the local airlines and, kind of have your own private arrival here in Anguilla.
Nice. I love that. Well, I think I am out of questions. I don't see any other questions here. So I guess in closing, what can guests do to prepare? Do you have any advice for what guests can do to prepare for a stay at your property as well as Anguilla in general?
Well, look, for as far as in relation to COVID, I mean, there is a decent likelihood that Anguilla could require a pre-test. There's a number of islands, Anguilla hasn't decided, that are asking people, say 72 to 48 hours before coming to get tested, which may relax, any kind of quarantines and things when they are arriving. So it's something to look into what options somebody may have for getting tested before they come down. But otherwise, I mean, there's really not, there's the more information we can get from guests from a group that's coming in, knowing, anybody's allergies or dietary restrictions, what kind of activities people like to do, are they active, or they just want to come chill, that we really have a whole team here in place to organize the trip for them. So there's really not much that they need to do. And if there's people that are, itching and ready to get out of quarantine land, we're here to set up, something really relaxing and away from things. I mean, Anguilla, we've been really blessed. We've been COVID-free here now for almost 2 months with no
Wow.
new cases, and they're being
Amazing.
quite strict. It's kind of a trade-off for the island here, where Anguilla may be, a little more restrictive about how many people we're allowing to come in. So there may be some application process, but the island has really done an amazing job of keeping things COVID
Right.
free, and so they're going to want to, as best as possible, protect the local community and protect the guests. That people know that when they are coming here, that it's going to be a super safe environment for them.
No, I love it. I think that you've answered all the questions that we received, and I don't see any other
Right?
questions from any of the viewers. So I think we're all set to go. And I guess I should touch on, for those that don't know who I am, I'm Sanika. I am the president of Lavish Lifestyles Concierge, and we book beautiful resorts such as the one that Ira has been so gracious to give us a tour of. So if you are interested in staying there, please visit their website, or you can also come to our website, which is the link is in our bio, which links to, there's a link there that you could actually go directly to their website as well.